Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, we got a great topic today. We're going to be talking about why building traffic on your Amazon listing is more important than conversion. Our guest is the founder of My Amazon Guy and has over 80 employees working in his agency. He also has, this is crazy, about 850 plus tutorial videos on YouTube showing you how to handle almost any problem on Amazon. So our guest today is a repeat guest, Stephen Pope. And before we get to Stephen, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Thank you, Sellerize, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Sellerize is your comprehensive solution for your everyday business needs. Everything you need to grow and scale your Amazon business is just one click away. For more information, contact Dima and his team over at Sellerize.com. And remember, Sellerize is with one R. It's just one R. Right, Kels?
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. Let us know if you're watching, where you're watching from. And also, if you're new to the show, we started off by smashing those like buttons, giving us those thumbs up, and sharing it out to anyone in the Amazon and e-commerce community. So before we get started, if you're new, you have no idea who we are, head on over to our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the fun thing about this podcast is that we do a giveaway every single episode. So stick around for more information about that. I can see we already have a Wheel of Kelsey thrown in there. So welcome, Marina and Steve. We got Manny and Sarfraz. It's great to see everyone. I'm over here in Toronto, Canada. It was about minus 31 this weekend, so I got to play some hockey on the lake. But what did you do this weekend? Let us know in the comment sections, and we can just jump into it.
All right, fantastic. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't checked out Kelsey's TikTok, it's called Lunch with Norm, but there's really no Norm. It's all just Kelsey doing his thing as a TikTok person. But anyways, it's pretty funny. So if you haven't had a chance, check it out. All right. So if you do have any questions for us today, make sure or comments, make sure you send them over to the comment section and we can sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy this show. Welcome, Stephen.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
Hey, it's always a pleasure.
We're going to have to update the bio notes, though, because I was at 80 employees like over a year ago. We're now at 145.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like I don't run an agency. I run an HR company as far as I'm concerned.
That's crazy. 145 people. Now, where are you located?
Atlanta. No physical presence, though. Everybody's remote. So we have 10 countries represented. All Canada, Mexico, and all the good North American. But we also have Brazil, and we have Romania and Turkey, and of course the classic Philippines. A few others kind of thrown in there as well.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball here because I didn't know that. And when you get up to 145 people, and if they're mostly remote, you're right. You're running a HR firm. So how do you handle that?
Put the employees before the clients, which usually catches people off guard when I say that, right? But like we have an actual pyramid, and it's part of our core charts that we show new employees day one, and basically just stress like we fire asshole clients, and we attract competency-based talent. And the best way to do that and to find the A players is to make an environment they want to be a part of, right? So you got to put employees at the top. We put them before clients, and we tell clients the same thing. We say we put our employees before you, and guess what? It's in your best interest that we do that, because when you have the best employees working your account, the clients win too. But yeah, I mean, it's a big initiative to hire as many people as we're bringing into the system, right? You have to have systems built in place to operate properly so that an employee can integrate, right? Get in there and get going. And you also have to be able to manage that amount of people, right? So,
Right.
we rolled out health benefits in the United States this past year. I'm super excited about that. That was ridiculously difficult to accomplish. Any business owner who rolls out health benefits knows what I'm talking about. It is way harder than it should be and more expensive. So there's things like that. And then there's, this question, like, how many people can one person manage? Like, what should that magic number be? I'm actually really curious, before I give my answer, if anybody in the chat, how many people do you think one person can successfully manage long term? Put your answer in the chat here. And I think that number should be less than 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because once you hit over 8 people, you're going to have breakdowns. So, okay, if we've got 145 people, that means 145 divided by 8. That's the minimum number of managers that we need, right?
Yep.
So it's just a lot. You gotta have a lot of systems and processes built and SOPs for everything.
Okay, here's another question, agency question. So you're talking about managed services, right? That's what you do for Amazon sellers.
150 people. I don't know about that. See,
What's that?
he says you can manage 150 people. No, I don't think so.
But how many people does it take? So Amazon manager. So if you've got a senior project manager, how many Amazon accounts can they manage?
Our model's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So like your standard 40-person agency, you're going to tap out between 6 and 8 accounts per account manager, like the standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
But the way that we do it is we have two wings, right? So we've got the domestic account management wing that interacts with the client and keeps things project managed and moving forward. And then we have the international wing where we put most of our subject matter experts, or SMEs. And so while one account manager could theoretically be on anywhere between 12 and 20 accounts, which is higher than any other agency does it, the reason it works at our company is because we have 10 additional experts logging into the account assisting, right? So all of our top competitors out there, they don't have 10 people running into the account. They usually keep a small core team, 2 or 3 experts. And the reason why having 10 experts with one person who's just juggling works more effectively, in my opinion, is because you have better expertise when you specialize. So the more specialists we can get into the system, the better the work product becomes. So we, for example, if you break down Amazon services into traffic generation and conversion generation, on the traffic side, you have PPC and SEO. And then on the conversion side, you have design and catalog. And catalog is the most underrated of the 4 and widely misunderstood. So whether we talk about SEO or catalog, we might have multiple phases of SEO, and we'll break down each of those phases into their own mini chunks. So then one person's job will be 1/10 of the entire SEO process. And then they're just an expert on this and they just crank it out left and right.
All right. Very good. Well, I think we went off topic enough. Why don't we get down to our topic today? And we were, which could go down many different rabbit holes. So the topic today was why building traffic on Amazon is more important than conversion. So where would you like to start with that?
So I'm a widely outspoken person on this topic. Every time we do a LinkedIn poll, or every time we poll the experts, it's always a 3-to-1 ratio. So out of 4 people, 3 will say conversion is more important than traffic.
Yep.
And I'm the outlier. I'm the 1 against the 3. And I think traffic is significantly more important than conversion. And there's a lot of reasons why I believe that.
Let's dig into it. Why do you believe that?
So I think that it's 10 times easier to double your traffic than it is to double your conversion rate.
Okay.
And that simple litmus test sets up the conversation, right? So you could throw any scenario out. You could say, hey, I'm a 100K business and my conversion rate's 10%. Or I'm a 50K business and my conversion rate's 5%. No matter which scenario you run through here, it's still going to be 10 times easier to double the traffic than to double the conversion. And if you double the traffic and maintain the conversion rate, which never happens, but if you could, it would still still be the same outcome versus doubling the conversion rate and maintaining the traffic. So why wouldn't you put more resources behind traffic generation if it's easier to grow your sales? And so when we think about traffic initiatives versus conversion initiatives, it's a lot harder to figure out what's going to improve a conversion rate, right? Like, so if we talk conversion rate for a moment, you have pricing, you have your main image, your title, your design, your photo stack. Is this the item I expected when I landed on your product ASIN page when I clicked it? If yes, and I like what I see, I'm going to buy. And there's all kinds of factors that can go into the pricing model, right? Or the buying conversion model. It's and you can run your A/B tests, and I'm a big fan of PickFu, and I always run my A/B test to try and improve my conversion rate. So what I'm not arguing today is do traffic and don't work on conversion. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if you focus on traffic with more resources, your sales will grow faster than if you focused your resources more on conversion. So you have to have all these things correct. You got to have a main image that works. You got to have a price that's competitive, and you got to have your A+ content. But here's case in point. For those that don't think A+ content is indexed, a year ago, I went on the circuit and I basically shouted at the top of my lungs, A+ content is indexed. And people are like, no, it's not. Amazon says it's not indexed. And I'm like, well, here's the proof. Put Spanish keywords behind one photo's alt text, and all of a sudden it indexes within 48 hours. There's the proof, right? So then take that a step further. If A+ content indexes, should you decrease your conversion rate by adding a bunch of copy to it? And the answer is yes, almost always. So if you pull out your mobile phone and go to your favorite page right now, and you're like, but I like the big pictures, they look better on my phone, you would be correct. But if you put in 500 words of copy and 100 characters in your search term field on every single photo, you are more likely to index, that is, be found on the search engine result page in the top 300 search results, than if you hadn't have done those things. So it's a chicken or egg question. What comes first, the traffic or the conversion? But at the end of the day, if you don't have the eyeball to begin with, then you won't convert them. And therefore, you should put all of your resources behind traffic, or most of the resources, rather. So I'm going to pause there to give you a chance to interject.
Yeah, well, I just like being lazy and letting you talk, but now I got to do my job, I guess. So if any of the listeners, I would love to hear your opinion. So comment, please. Traffic. Do you traffic or conversion? That was the question Steve asked at the beginning. If you have any comments about what Steven just said, love to hear them. Let's get this going. Let's have some interaction here. Okay. So I got another question for you. And I really love what you were talking about, by the way, about the A+ content, the chicken or the egg, because aesthetics over indexing, right?
Most companies will pick aesthetics by default, but not because they're purposely doing it. They just don't know better, right? And so I like to believe that my Amazon guy is the #1 SEO leader in the space. And I say this boldly, and I will defend it. As one example to this, about a week ago, I broke some news in the industry where I went on and said every single SEO tool on the market is incorrectly telling you how to set your search term field. And there's a difference between a byte and a character. And essentially, long story short, the search term field does not count syntax. It doesn't count spaces, and it doesn't count commas or other hyphenated objects against your search term field. And essentially what that means is all of these search term tools were making you set your SEO field with 20% less space than you could actually fill in. So Helium 10, Jungle Scout, Zonguru, you could name any SEO tool on the market. Every single one of them told you that space is counted against you, and they were incorrect. Now, I'm a really big fan of Zonguru. I think they have an up and coming tool. They've already patched this. They're the only ones that have, that I'm aware of. They had this patched in less than 1 business day. That's how clever they are over there. Big fan of John Tilley and Zonguru. But essentially, this is another case in point example. This is a big moment, right? Like, this is the biggest piece of news in the SEO space on Amazon since I proved A+ content is indexed. This is another case example of how you can improve your indexing by just simply re-understanding how the field actually works. So if you haven't gone back and counted how many bytes your search term field has today, and instead you were calculating the characters, there's a very strong possibility that you could fit 20% more space into your search term field.
Especially if you were doing commas and space.
Yes, and I believe the comma debate ended about 5 years ago. I think that most people 5 years ago were like, hey, don't put commas in your search term field. And some of you may not know the why, but you understand the best practice. But the why is every phrase inside of the search term field permutates with every other phrase inside of it. And if you add a comma, you're telling Amazon, please don't permutate. As in, please don't combine my plush toy keyword with my dog toy keyword, right? And so if you put commas in, it's almost like you're just doing exact match only, no broad match, no permutations between them. So that's why commas are not a used technique within Amazon search term fields.
Very good. Did anybody reach out to you? I know you just said Zonguru did, but did anybody in the industry?
None of the other SEO tools did. There are some really good leaders. Like, I'm a big fan of Seller Tools and what they're up to. But no, nobody. Well, I mean, I'll take that back. Bradley Sutton did join me in the comment section on Helium 10. He had a clarifying comment, but he didn't really address the feedback, in my opinion. And nothing from Jungle Scout yet. So, and I did tag I tagged all the guys. I'm actually really surprised they didn't make more headlines. I'll be honest. I think this was such a big news drop that just like people are like, yeah, that's cool. And then they went on with their day. And like, I'm telling you guys, like 20% more SEO juice, do this one hack, right? Huge deal. So I expect that to pick up a little bit more and more. The same thing happened when I talked about A+ content indexing. It took a full year for the industry to adopt the best practice. I think this one will go faster because I have a track record now, and I'm like, hey guys, the industry needs to shift. We'll see. I'm not 100%. It's kind of like, selling sliced bread 10 years before everybody knew what sliced bread was. Sometimes, it's like it's the difference between a product that you have to generate demand for versus a product that, you're co-opting demand. So I have a product demand generator right here. And sometimes I have to tell people I'm solving a problem they don't even know they exist.
Yeah. And, you're attracting more and more and more attention. So all of a sudden you start to say something and you become that authority figure or that trust figure. People start to jump more and more and more. So I remember when you brought out that A+ content, and you changed my mind on that because I didn't think you could do that. I was with the Amazon side, and then you said that, and we started doing that, and we started seeing those results.
And they were instantaneous.
It was instant. It was instant. Yeah. And the other thing is, I saw when you sent out this video the other day, and I thought, wow, that could be 20% more. Like 20%. It's a big number.
And it doesn't even take more than like 5 minutes of effort to utilize, right? It's just that the whole industry was counting characters instead of bytes. Now, there are a few IT technical people out there that have clarified that technically a space is a byte according to some JavaScript definition or something other than outside of Amazon. But I was able to show the Amazon help file as Amazon is defining a byte, a space is not counted. And so if you are trying to put in German language or Spanish with tildes, or what do they call the A with the double dot above it in German? I forget what that's
You're asking a guy that lives in Canada. Come on now.
I don't know.
Manny knows. She's in Germany. She'll let us know.
So if if you have a character that has multiple touch points on it, I don't even know if I'm describing this correctly, but a tilde, like you got an N and a tilde over it, that counts as 2 bytes. Or a Chinese field, that would count as 3 or potentially even 4 bytes for one character. And so let's go to the comment section. An umlaut, yeah, that was the one.
There we go.
Everybody's learning. They're going back to AP English in high school right now, and they're like, "Oh, why did I join this podcast?"
There we go. I do want to go back to what you were talking about with A+ indexing and just firm up what you were talking about. So let's go through it step by step. You go into your A+ content, you hit edit, you hit, like, if there's an image there, you hit the image that has the edit on the image, and then you'll be able to add. It doesn't say alt tag, right? It says keyword. Oh, what does it say? Keyword.
I'll just pull it up on my side as fast as I can.
Because I do know I've had questions that people say, I can't find the alt tags. Well, it's under keyword search, I think.
You can hit edit on the photo, and it should just be the alt text. So, of course, the moment I go into edit A+ content, Seller Central is like lagging out here. But let's see. Okay, so I'm going to hit share screen here, and you can let me know if that's appropriate or not.
Yeah, no problem. Go for it.
All right, so I hit add screen. You can add me in here. So this is an actual, A+ content. So the first thing I'll point out here is you see big, giant images, lots of text. Big, giant image, lots of text. And you'll see me repeat that 3 times. Big, giant image, lots of text, followed by product grid. Product grid, my favorite module. So when you go into hit edit, let's go ahead and edit here, and then edit on the photo. And Norm and I did not talk about doing this ahead of time. So this is a live impromptu demo.
This is live.
Add image keywords right here.
Right.
And I think they might have changed the name of this from alt text to image keywords at one point. But in here, you can see, you can put additional things. All of the same best practices apply here, but with some caveats, right? So should you double some of the words that you put into the photos that you have elsewhere? Answer, absolutely. Case in point, I don't sell a candle, but you better believe I want to rank for Sage Candle. Why? Because I have a 25% ACOS on anything related to candles. I know that I convert better on candles than I do on smudge sticks. So do I want to rank for candles? Yes. Do I have the word candle in my physical text? No. I only have it in the keyword sections. Other things, like incense and sticks and negative energy, right? And this is obviously a weird product. But like I will use repetition in the alt text field frequently. When you're trying to do indexing, that is be found on the search result to begin with, repetition is not what you should be chasing. So we run 3 phases of SEO, right? So when we talk about traffic, we got PPC and SEO, conversion, design, and catalog. That's kind of what we started on. So we run 3 phases of SEO. And in phase 1, it's all about mass indexing. You're trying to show as many words as possible in the search result. And so like one of the ways I like to evaluate is like, hey, did I do a good job on this? What's the number? Generally speaking, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 keywords indexed by the end of day 30, you can say to yourself, pat yourself on the back, I did a good job. If you don't have that sort of indexing, there's probably a problem that you need to address. Either you don't have enough text in your A+ content, or you set up your search term field incorrectly, or you didn't spend enough money on ads and traffic. So some of the best practices on this are very common knowledge. Don't repeat the same word in the search term field. Don't put commas. Those sort of things have been around for about 5 years. And then the one that we're breaking, though, is 250 bytes, not 250 characters. So that's phase 1, all about indexing. When we go to phase 2, we call this the pink word update. And the reason it's called the pink word update is because inside of the brand analytics dashboard, you can see that any word that's entered into your search term field and is also present in your title or your bullets is in pink now. That means that Amazon has already indexed that word for you or counted it for indexing because they see it on the front-facing copy. Yes, bullet points count towards indexing, though the question of how much they impact versus, say, title and search term field is significantly less. So when we do phase 2, we will remove the pink words. That is, we'll replace what's currently on the title and in the bullets and remove it out of the search term field and replace it with additional keywords to index. So when we think of phase 2, we think of this as incremental indexing. So if you do this phase correctly, your 800 or 1,000 keywords will gain another 20%. So if you had 1,000, you go to 1,200. The reason we include the keywords from the title and the bullets in the search term as part of phase 1 is because we found that helps the indexing faster. So when it comes to launching on Amazon, speed for your honeymoon period especially is extremely important. So that's why we don't have that until phase 2, and it's incremental indexing. Phase 3, throw the rules out of all of phase 1 and 2. And this is the phase where you are going to matriculate the rankings and try and go from rank 20 through 50 and push it up to rank 1 through 10. So this is where you will increase repetition. And this is why I brought these screen shares up, is because when you do phase 3, you absolutely want to repeat your phrases in as many locations as possible. Why? Because you're strike zoning them. You're going to pick somewhere between 5 to 10 keywords that you want to move from position 20 through 50 on and put them up to position 1 through 10. And the best way to do that is to update your title, update your search term field, your bullet points with exact matches of the keywords you're trying to strike on. And the alt text or the copy of your A+ content should be chock full of these phrases. If you run this phase correctly, more than half of the keywords you work on will result in rank 1 through 10. Not 100% chance on this, 50% chance typically. But if you matriculate the ranking and bring them from strike zone position 20 through 50, that's a really big deal. Let's say you have a 10,000 search volume keyword that you do this with. Well, in position rank 20, you might only get 2% of the traffic. But in position rank 3 or 2 or position 1, you might get 15 to 25% of the traffic or even more. So that means if you can index and matriculate a keyword to a higher rank faster and more effectively, that leads to more traffic. And it's easier to do this than it is to improve your conversion rate, tying it into our theme today, right? These techniques are super easy to follow. They're just widely debated and widely misunderstood. Easy to do, highly contested. Does this strat work versus somebody else's strat? But once you do that, you're going to be able to see the results for yourself and judge for yourself when you run those techniques. So that's the key here. And if you want to go to just to wrap up the screen share here.
Yep.
Before I bore everybody with the tech,
Sure.
if we go to the front-facing copy and the actual A+ content, and by the way, here's a hack for you today. How many of you don't have your brand story filled out? Many of you are asking, what's a brand story?
Exactly.
A brand story is an additional module on top of your A+ content. Notice here it says from the brand. This is an easy 5-minute hack to take more space on your detail page. Why do you want to take more space? Because every single thing on the Amazon detail page is a giant rabbit hole. If I was defending turf on my own listing on my Shopify website, you probably would only have something along the lines of this, right? You show me the images, the video, and buy, and you'd be done. But on Amazon, we've got, there's an ad, there's an ad, there's an ad.
Yep.
And as we scroll down, ad row there, ad row there. So therefore, taking up as much space as humanly possible is in your best interest, both for conversion and for traffic purposes. And in the case of taking up space so that they don't click somebody else's, that's conversion. But in the case of traffic, you want to have lots of copy because that helps the search engine result page look better. All right, so last thing to show here, when you hit inspect element like this inside of Google,
Yep.
You're then going to see the alt text image right here. So we got sweetgrass, lavender, campfire, pure plant, etc. This is where the engine is going to use that information. It's set as the image alt text. That's the tech behind it. All right, so I've bored everybody with the tech. I'll stop my screen share and turn it back over to you, Norm.
All right. So before we started to go down the A+ side, one of the things I want to talk about, because it's the way that you've set it up, and a lot of people, again, we started off talking about aesthetics. You'll have the big pictures, it looks great. But what I liked, that the one thing that I liked that you brought up was, okay, you can have those big pictures, but at the end have a carousel of a bunch of small pictures, so you could stick the alt text into it. So I think that's important, and I don't think that's been discussed a lot. Like, I don't hear people talking about what size of images to put in. I hear about aesthetics a lot of the time. And what you told about brand story too, not not very many people even know that brand story is available on A+. So great points.
Kelsey, you want to pull up the screen again? So in the product module that Norm was just emphasizing there, here we have 4 images. You could put 5 or 6 in here. And not only do you get the benefit of having multiple links here, see how I can put my cursor on it and click the other product? If somebody buys a fruity scent soap for me, chances are they're going to buy a masculine soap for me too, right? One for him, one for her. And so that increases the average order value. And then the point that Norm is making here is each one of these photos all have their own alt text.
Right.
So having multiple photos is a net benefit here.
Yeah. Okay. It is just after 12:30. We haven't even talked about the prize today. So, Stephen, why don't you just mention what you're giving away today?
All right. So we'll take the screen share away here. So this nice t-shirt I have on, I'm going to upsell this t-shirt because this t-shirt is the softest fabric on the market. I bought 10 different fabric types in my hunt to build the best t-shirt. So if you think my Amazon guy would be worthy to be on your shirt, we're going to give away a free t-shirt today.
All right. And on top of that, we're going to give away, as long as you're not already part of the Centurion League, we're going to give away a month of the Centurion League as well. Also, if you're interested in Stephen's, let me see, the keyword phase 1 that he was just talking about. We're going to be putting in a link. You can check it out. You can download it and you can get all the information. And I have to tell you, there are a ton of people that will say, oh, this doesn't work. This is, try it. Just try it. We tried it and we saw results. So what Stephen is talking about, you don't have to use, but if you're bringing out a product, why not give it a try? And I'm sure that you've had some pretty hot conversations with a few people.
I mean, SEO is the most complicated topic to debate. It's more complicated, more technical than design. And with design, people will debate the aesthetics all day long, right? So it's just more, it's like all of that except more, because then not are you only arguing like which image am I more likely to click on, which by the way, you should just run an A/B test and not even have that debate. But now you're also debating, how does the Amazon algorithm actually work? Well, Amazon publicly states this. Well, we know that Amazon doesn't actually, it's like the left hand at Amazon doesn't know what the right hand is doing very frequently over at Amazon. So it's like, how do you trust that? You can't.
Right.
So you got to test it. You got to find something that you can test yourself to see what actually works.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you want this, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. And if you tag 2 people, you'll get a second chance to enter. Also, Kels, put your finger on the button. We're about to go to a sponsor. Thank you, Z.co, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Are you looking to take your e-commerce business from local to global? You can with the help of Z and their brand new app. That's right. You can track live shipments with push notifications, get detailed lead times for each stage of your shipment, and store all compliance and VAT reclaim documents in the palm of your hand, all while listening to Lunch with Norm. Ready to expand your e-com empire and take your Amazon FBA business global? Use the link in the description to learn more about Z's new app that's now available on desktop and mobile. That's Z.co, ZEE.co. Okay. All right. So now let's move on. I know we've started this, but let's talk about your traffic strategy. So, what are the action points that people do have to take?
You need to fill out every attribute available to you on Amazon. So that means having a long title. That means filling out bullet points that maximize those fields, more text than you might want. And it means putting 500 words of text in your A+ content. And it also means running advertising, all from day one. Now, here is the next 5-second hack today.
Okay.
How many of you are using Amazon social posts? You might know about it, but are you actually using it? It's like Instagram for Amazon, right? So a lot of people don't realize that there is free traffic ready for you right now. Right?
Absolutely.
So I'll share my screen again here
Sure.
to show what we're talking about with social posts. So if you go to any brand store and they've made a social post, you can go to posts and you can see some of the things that have been posted here. So you got, not only do you have these tags down here, you can see the actual product. You can make them click the product and see a direct link. You see the stars, you see the price, you see the product. It's basically a giant ad for you. How much does this cost? Nothing. It's free. Go make an Amazon social post 3 times a week. It's the free advertising. So where does this show up? This shows up at the brand store right here, which nobody's clicking on and nobody's doing. So don't worry about that one. But it shows up at the bottom of the detail page. So if we go to a detail page, so let's click on the men's soap one here. So this is one of my brands I sell, Age of Sage. And we scroll down, there's the brand story again. And as we go down here, if I was on a mobile phone, we would see social posts somewhere between videos and customer asked questions. But on desktop today, they don't show the social posts. And the reason why I think that we see that from Amazon today is because they have found that on mobile, people are more social and more socially engaging, but on desktop, they're not. On desktop, conversion rates are affected by including social posts. So that could change at any point in time. We have seen video ads start getting beta tested on Amazon's detail pages as well. So we all know that if you go to Amazon.com, right, and type in, so let's go to Amazon.com here. We're just going to type in funny wine glass. And we got a headline ad up top. There's my ad for my own product right there in position number 1. And as we scroll down, here we go. There's a video ad, right? We all are aware of the importance of video ads and where they show up in search. What you may not know is that Amazon is going to throw these video ads onto your Amazon detail pages very soon. So if you are wondering how Amazon's PPC costs are going up 35% and what you're going to do about it, the fastest and easiest answer is make some really dang good video ads. And not only will video ads start showing up on detail pages, they're also starting to show up on Twitch and other external platforms. So if you think about it, like Amazon is out of space. There's only one headline ad, right? Only one person can win that. There's only 4 sponsored product ad spots for a whole row. And then they're going to go to some organic, and then maybe another organic row, and then a video, then Amazon's choice in editorials here, which I think are overrated, too expensive to obtain. But that's probably a debate I may not win. More organic, and then probably another sponsored row right here, right? So at the end of the day, Amazon only has a finite area for their advertising. So where are they going to go next, right? It's not just, I like the Canadian tie-in, right, Norm? So it's not just where the puck is in a hockey game, right? It's where the puck is going to be. And so in the Amazon advertising space, where is the puck going? It's going to be video, all about video. And social posts, which we shared, I lost that, but social posts, which we previously shared, also, I think you're going to have to push that. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon starts charging for Amazon social posts at this rate.
I would think at some point they would. I mean, it's still in beta, but we love Amazon social posts. Our clients are on Amazon social posts, and we try. It's not 1 or 2 times a week. We try to do about 3 a day, and
that's a good thing to do if you have the assets, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're just rotating through.
Yeah, and you can get the assets very easily if the person has so any other type of social media. You can get it from people tagging you, like just on your inserts. Ask people to tag, and then use an app like Repost, and then just upload it to your Amazon post. There's so many things. I know with one of our companies, we just asked chefs to provide recipes,
That's awesome.
and they did. It was really cool. So, I mean, and then what you can do is, like with all of the assets that you're putting out there, you can always withdraw the asset from the account. Let's say it's older, and you can reestablish it. So it's not like you have to have like ongoing, but if you are using influencers, I mean, look, I think Sumner, Kelsey, it was Sumner Hobart that put out that video that showed he started using Amazon posts and he didn't see any results. And then he came back a year later and he saw the engagement and that he received over the year, and he freaked out.
He's like, wow,
how many excuse me,
thousands and thousands of clicks.
yeah. So you don't see the immediate result maybe, but I know I have my best for impressions. So this is just impressions, but I have one post that has over 200,000 views right now.
That's a lot.
That's crazy amount for Amazon posts.
And that product insert idea, I'll take. I know you're already doing this, but I want to tell everybody else you should do this too. So instead of asking for reviews, like review generation strategies, in my opinion, dead. Like postmortem, not even worth touching anymore. I don't even think you need reviews to launch a product anymore, in my opinion. And I've launched multiple products where I didn't have reviews and did just fine. And I share my results on my YouTube channel. But product insert engagement generation is the future, right? So Canadian hockey metaphor, keep that one going. Where's the puck going, right? The puck is going so that you need to have engagement with your customers. Well, how do you engage them? Norm just gave it to you. Engage them on other social media. Well, how do you get them there to begin with? Everybody you send a product insert to, give them a $20 gift card if they post a picture of them using your product. That gift card could go to your website. Currently, this is probably in the gray zone, but is not explicitly prohibited. And even if it was, I've never heard of anybody getting in trouble for this so far. Could change in 12 months from now. Absolutely. But if you give them a gift card to post a picture of your product with a hashtag on Instagram, then you go through and give them a one-use time gift card code. This is the cheapest way you're going to be able to get more photography of your product in use by a consumer. And they post it on their own social media, so it's like free advertising. You then repurpose it and post it on your own Amazon social posts as well. You're probably doing all of this already. Yes, Norm?
Yeah.
Not surprised. Last thing I'll say is product insert. So I sent out a nice giant postcard here. Norm, did you get one of these by chance?
I did not.
Okay.
I feel left out.
Yeah. So I've got postcards I sent to 25,000 Amazon sellers trying to see if I could drum up more business. So we're talking about product inserts. It is illegal to take your Amazon seller addresses and send them a mail. Don't do that. But it is not illegal for me to send a postcard to all of the Amazon sellers because all of your addresses are public record now.
There we go. All right.
So if you're ever wondering,
leave it at that.
yeah, if you're ever wondering why you get a postcard from an aggregator or an agency, that's why.
Right. Okay. I know that we have a bunch of questions. So, Kelsey, I think we should start digging.
My wife just said it was good to see you again, Norm.
And I haven't seen her, but it would be good to see her, especially if she was coming on the cruise.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we do have a lot of questions. Not sure if we can get to all of them today, but let's give it a try. From Zachary, thoughts on the new brand metrics for traffic conversion and other tools. Also wondering why I do not have this live yet. Is it random who they allow the tool?
So anytime Amazon rolls a tool out, there's a 10% chance it's going to have value from my experience. It's like for every 10 things Amazon changes, one is really good, 9 duds. I would say jury is out on brand metrics, in my opinion. I think it's a nice to look at, but I don't know how actionable it is at this stage. Are you going to do a cameo?
Has Norm seen the baby?
All right, we're gonna have a cameo from my wife.
Norm,
Oh,
have
there
you
we
seen the
go.
baby Yet?
Hey, oh,
This is baby Adam.
Yeah,
oh my
so
gosh.
I'll put him up in
You
front of
put
the
him up?
camera here.
There we go.
He's a cutie.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
don't put him through the camera.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
All
awesome.
right. He just had to see Uncle Norm.
Yes. Oh,
Thanks for the cameo.
that's awesome. So cute. Well,
I went-
and congrats on that, by the way, too.
Thank you very much. 4 kids, 6 and under. My personal motto is prosperity in all things. That means juggle constantly, both business, families, personal, spiritual, you name it, all of it,
Yeah.
24/7.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, now let's get to the questions. After that great cameo.
Okay, let's see. From Rad, which brings in the traffic? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or other?
Depends on the product. So my wine glasses, Pinterest does best. But I would say if you have a crazy product that's like a as seen on TV product, you need a Billy Mays type guy, probably TikTok.
Okay, from Tony, if A+ content is indexed, are there any stats on sales? I have bought from Google Photos.
Does A+ content have any stats on the impact of its sales? I think is the question.
I think so.
Not tracked technically, but many use case studies have been performed on this, both by Amazon themselves as well as service providers like my Amazon guy. And I don't remember these stats off the top of my head because it's such a no-brainer to have A+ content that it makes sense to have it. But I think that there's probably no case study that could prove one way or another whether text is good or bad. I would venture to guess overall, right? I would venture to guess that having more text will hurt the conversion rate,
Right.
but it will increase your indexing, leading to overall more traffic and more sales. And so that's how I would judge it. One of the things you could do, Tony, is run an A/B test on your A+ content, heavy text versus less text. The problem is I don't know if Amazon is indexing the test version or both versions, and there's a lot of question marks on this.
But like you said, I think it was in our last podcast we were talking about this, but you can if you've got a ton of text that you're going after and you've indexed for it, when you come and you get into phase 3, you can start removing some of that. So now the aesthetics kind of bounce back and you can get away from just heavy text, correct?
I would agree with that statement. The longer your listing has been around, the more likely you can go with less text and go for the aesthetics. Now, the question is though, wouldn't you want to keep indexing for new things? And so having those texts there, it might be just like a switch out, like a switcheroo, right? Like you might just want to change the text, go for less, sure, but you want to switch it out because it's not set it and forget it. It's a continued optimization, right? For example, I wouldn't spend $10,000 on a PPC campaign and tell my PPC manager, hey, I don't want you to make any optimizations. Just spend 10 grand, right? Same thing with SEO. Why would you give your SEO guy $10,000 of time that they spent working on your listings and not continuously optimize it?
Okay. I just saw something from Marina. Sorry, I missed it. Are posts indexed by Amazon?
I don't believe so.
No, I didn't think so. If who knew?
However, product reviews can trigger your category to change on Amazon. And I know this because we have a brand called Rope Ratchet that's been with us for 4 years. And when somebody left a risque review about how they used their ropes in the bedroom and showed us a picture of a mannequin being tied up, it switched us to the adult category. Ooh. So if a product review can switch your category, I venture to guess that there's probably some kind of SEO impact, but we don't know.
I've been told, like with Amazon posts, to make sure that you do put in your keyword phrases, so I don't have any evidence that they do index, but just in case, why not?
I like that strategy, the just in case, why not? I also think that even if it doesn't help your ASIN to index, it absolutely will help your social post index on other people's products of like-minded items.
Mhm.
So it's a no-brainer from that standpoint.
Okay, Kels.
All right. And just a reminder that if you're new to the podcast, we go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you haven't yet, please smash those like buttons and give us those thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. On to our next question from Yanni. What are the best practices when doing Amazon posts?
I think Norm just gave the best one. Use keywords. Make sure you use product photos that aren't just necessarily your main image of the product, because they already see that in the post itself. And I would also say variety and frequency. So I mentioned 3 times a week minimum. I set the bar pretty low because I know most of you aren't going to go do multiple per day. Norm set the bar way up here, and he's like, hey, you should be doing 5 of these a day. And technically both strategies are good. Mine's a getting started strategy, and Norm's is like, if you want to be a pro strat.
Yeah. And like you just said about content, make a content calendar and mix it up. You don't know, you'll be surprised at what types of images or information people will get more engaged with. So it's different with every category. So just mix it up from lifestyle, benefits, features. It could show your ingredients. It could be a ton of things. And all those extra posts that are coming in, the ones that you're either getting from influencers like the lifestyle ones, but also people that are that have tagged you and have given you their information. So using your product, which are pretty cool. So, all right, Kels, next.
All right. From S Green, have you seen the data that some products will be almost impossible to reverse course on ranking after bad PPC SEO management for a while? Do you believe in relaunching products under a new ASIN?
I rarely support launching on a new ASIN. I think that it's much easier to steer the ship or correct course. You've got review counts to consider. There are obviously isolated cases where I'm going to say, yeah, start a new ASIN. If you've got a 3-star average, like no brainer, start a new ASIN, right? But in terms of the SEO and PPC, even though it's harder to take a mismanaged product and improve it, I don't think there's justification to lose all of that history to start from scratch. It's expensive to start a product from scratch. You're talking $3,000 to get a product off the ground and PPC and all the other things that you need.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Let me see. Next one from Zachary. As Amazon matures, is it going to be more about who can bid higher to rank or more about relevance of the product? Is Amazon going to be more greedy or a better experience for its customers?
Both. Absolutely both, and probably a healthy mix. Amazon wants to make more money. How do they make more money? By charging you more on PPC and by delivering a better customer experience. More customers that buy, the more they make. So they're going to do both for sure.
Okay, and from Simon, you say continuous optimizing. How often should a listing be optimized and switcherooed?
So we generally go with a cadence of every 30 to 60 days. It just depends. If you do phase 2 SEO, but you don't have 50 keywords in strike zone, that is ranks 20 through 50, you're not ready for phase 3. You might need to rerun the phase 2, or you might just need to let it sit longer, dependingly. So in general, 30 to 60 days, I think, is a good metric. And you can see if you're tracking your keywords, you'll be able to know, like, where should I focus and how much I should focus.
Okay, and I've gotten this question a couple of times just through social media context as well. But can I use customer images from reviews for Amazon posts? Can I get in trouble for copyright?
I do it. I do think it's prohibited technically, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody get in trouble. I don't think a customer is going to come after you for using their product image in a customer post.
Okay. All right.
By the way, we've also used stock images that weren't our products in social posts. Never had a problem. And so I wouldn't do that if you could use real images, but you got to start somewhere sometimes.
Be careful though with stock. You can definitely use them as long as they've got the Creative Commons rights, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, just be careful with it. Like Unsplash is an awesome place to go. There's Pixabay, I think, another one which everybody goes to, but there are some places out there that look like they're royalty free, until they sue you.
If you ever get one of those letters from some Switzerland-based lawyer saying you used our copyrighted image, my best advice is don't respond. They're usually scammy.
Okay.
All right, and it is coming up to the hour. We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
If we don't get to your questions, there's always our Facebook group, Amazon or Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and e-commerce collective. So we've got a great group of people over there that can help you out. Our community is awesome, so check that out. But we can maybe answer one or two more. From Olga, I heard you said before on YouTube that putting other brands' names under search term is not being an issue. Is that still the case?
So I'm really glad Olga brought this up. Since I made those comments previously, it's now become a problem. Part of one of the tools, ZonGuru, can actually download your competitors' search term reports and now see if you're using their trademark phrases. Therefore, don't give your competitor ammunition to report your listing for trademark infringement and use it in a search term field. I think this is a very slippery slope on Amazon's part, though, because quite frankly, there's a lot of phrases that are accidentally trademarked and used. And so I think we're in a slippery slope situation. But right now, I would just, your direct competitor, you know their brand name, I wouldn't include it. Not right now.
Right. Yep, that's a good idea.
Okay, and last question. I think we've touched on this from Dr. Kaz.
Dr.
Hey,
Kaz.
you're smashing it. Congrats. Hey, do you believe or have evidence that Amazon is reading image text and indexing like done so by Google, YouTube, and other search terms? And then also, yeah, we'll keep it to that.
So, like, is a human reading it or is the algorithm reading it? And the answer is the algorithm is absolutely reading anything you submit, 100%. The question is the algorithm using it to impact the search result? And that's what's usually debated. And I would say, yes, they're using it and it affects your ranking. Yes.
All right. Okay. So just a quick reminder, if you like to get the t-shirt, My Amazon Guy, and a free month to the Centurion League, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag us twice, and you'll get a second entry. All right. So before we get over to the wheel, Stephen, how do people get a hold of you or your agency?
MyAmazonGuy.com. If you contact us there, my team reads every single one of those contact forms. We get about 70 a week.
Okay.
And you can also follow me on YouTube. That's my favorite place where I like to build a community and interact with comments. YouTube.com/MyAmazonGuy.
Fantastic. All right. Kelsey, are we ready? Or hold it. Why don't we do this? Let's have a word from our sponsor and then we'll get into the wheel. How's that?
It sounds good.
Perfect. I wanted to give a quick shout out and say thank you to Global Wired Advisors for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Global Wired Advisors is a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please call Chris Schifferling and his team over at globalwiredadvisors.com. There you go. All right, let's get to the wheel.
All right, it's time for the Wheel of Kelsey. Olga, you just snuck in, so I'll enter you, and here it goes, the Wheel of Kelsey. Enjoy.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right.
Shuffling everyone up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see. It looks like it is going to
Michael
E.
All right.
All right,
Congrats,
congratulations.
Michael.
I will
Free
send you
t-shirt.
over
There we
the
go.
link for the free t-shirts. And yeah, we'll get you all set up. So that is kate@lunchwithnorm.com to reach out to me.
And don't forget, there's a link, isn't there, for the phase 1 in the search term? Yeah. Okay, good. Very good. All right, perfect. So I think that's it. Stephen, hold on after you leave. I got to talk to you about a couple things.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was lots of fun.
It was a pleasure. Okay, and I had a ton more questions, but we had too many questions. All right, so thanks everybody for joining us today. We are going to be having a really great show on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about 5 Amazon growth levers every seller should be pulling in 2022. And that's with Hamza Ramzan and Razak Malas from D1 Brands. It's going to be awesome. Okay, Kels, where are you?
Okay. I'm not sure if my internet's going to be okay. It feels like it's kind of being a little choppy on my end. But
Okay.
thank you, everyone. Claudia, DK Kim. We got a ton of new users or viewers today.
That's not the internet. That's just
That's just my
not
brain.
getting enough sleep or something.
Yeah, I think so. But anyways, I'm going to be posting Steven's YouTube link in the comment section right now. So check that out. He's got a great channel. I think it's one of the best YouTube channels, I'd say, that's out there. So definitely check it out. It's My Amazon Guy if you search it on YouTube. And I'll post that right here. So check it out there. Also, like Norm was saying before, we are now on TikTok. So come hang out with me. That's just Lunch with Norm. And you can search that on TikTok and you'll be able to find all of our videos. And yeah, I think it's pretty fun.
And by the way, if you are in Miami this week, I'm going to be down there. Tim's going to be down there. So let us know where you are. I think I'm flying down on Friday. And the other thing is too, if you want to see a live Wheel of Kelsey will be coming to Mexico, and we'll be doing live Wheel of Kelsey's in Cancun. So that'll be fun. That's April.
I did not know that, but that's very
yes,
cool.
I just volunteered you for that.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Central. Let's try that back. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, thanks for being part of our community. We really could not do this without you. And until Wednesday, we'll see you then. Have a great day.
Lunch with